It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, guys, we've got 35. Yes, you heard me right. 35 new duos added to my team today. We'll go through them, talk about each and every one for you guys. Before we dive any further into that, you're new to the channel, make sure to smash that subscribe button. We're on the road towards 120,000 subscribers. Now, I'm not going through these all-time duos. These cards all reek. They all absolutely stink. If you want to run them, do what you got to do. These cards stink though, okay? So you can't sit here and say, well, Ty uploaded a video on the duos and he didn't talk about these guys. Yeah, because they all stink. So the first 5 duos you see, Oscar, Kareem, MJ, Scotty, Bron, Kyrie, D-Wade, Bron, and Kobe and Shaq, they all stink. So yes, that's my opinion on all of them. Let's hop into the first duo that could actually be something. The Zen Shaq and Kobe Bryant. I hate to say it, for the Zen Shaq, he becomes really solid. Now again, I don't think SIG's changed, so his release is going to be bad in my team. So you can't get this Shaq and be like, oh, he's basically the invincible Shaq. No, his stats basically are, but again, the SIGs don't change. So keep that in the back of your mind. For Kobe Bryant, again, SIGs don't change. He gets quite a bit better. Or not even quite a bit, a little bit better. Kobe base on very quick, he's fine. That duo is fine to run, okay? If you want to run Kobe and Shaq, that duo is fine. Kyrie and Bron up next. For Kyrie base on very quick with the Kyrie dribble style is very troll, okay? So that's the first thing. I don't think this duo is really runnable. For Big Bron, I know he's an invincible. He gets to 60 Hall of Famers. But again, is it worth running Kyrie Irving? No, absolutely not. Kyrie Irving stinks in my team. Next up, Korver, Paul Millsap. For Korver, he gets 35 Hall of Famers, but his stats barely get upgraded. Like, I don't know how they even get him to a dark matter, because, I mean, I guess their perimeter and lateral quickness go up a little bit. But again, the duo isn't much. I do get he gets a lot of those playmaking badges, but again, it's not that much. For Paul Millsap, he gets quite a bit better, right? He gets those 35 Hall of Famers, even stat-wise, gets quite a bit better. Is it worth running? No. Korver is not good enough to run, in my opinion. The first duo I think has a legit chance if you have these cards. So if you have Clyde Drexler, I think he was the lock-in for Terry, I do believe. So if you have Clyde, if you have Sabonis, let's check it out. For Clyde, he gets 5 extra badges, including Claymore, Limitless, Slippery Off-Ball Space Creator, and Dimer. Also does get lateral quickness, perimeter boost, 3-ball boost, and ball handle boost. Makes him a little bit better, and the card's already good. The bigger boost is to Arvydas Sabonis. Gets the +6 speed, better lateral quickness, +5 lateral quickness, +3 on the 3-ball. And I mean, speed with ball goes up, gets Hall of Fame clamps, workhorse, unpluggable vice grip, clutch shooter, volume shooter, as well as some other badges. This duo is honestly worth running. If you have Clyde locked in and you have Arvydas, and you let's say you can't afford Liao, let's say you can't afford some of those other tall guys, Taco, Manutes, and you're already running this Arvydas Sabonis, it's worth probably plugging Clyde into the lineup. I'm just throwing it out there. That duo is really solid in my team, and definitely a duo that I think you can run. Gordon Hayward, Joe Ingles up next. I mean, I don't mind this duo. I just don't love the Gordon Hayward base. It's a release I thought that was going to be okay, going to be solid, but I don't love it. Also has the LaMelo size up, which is absolutely horrible. It's not bad. Again, it gets those 35 Hall of Famers, 59 total badges, basically every badge in the game. It's fine. For Joe Ingles, 6'8", point guard, becomes a dark matter. This duo isn't bad either. I mean, again, do I love Joe Ingles? No, but when he becomes a dark matter at 6'8" at the point guard position, he becomes one of the best budget point guards in the entire game, because he's going to be cheap. Joe Ingles is going to be cheap. Again, it just comes down to, is it worth running Gordon Hayward? And you can make the case it is. That duo is really, really solid in my team. Poku and Chet up next. Poku gets 35 Hall of Fame badges. And again, he's 7 feet tall already, gets Limitless. His release isn't necessarily the best, but it's fine enough to run. It's solid. For Chet, he gets 35 Hall of Famers, okay? He becomes quite a bit better defensively. Already has half range. Again, the hard part is neither of their releases do get upgraded, but it's not bad. Chet, Poku in the front court, I don't mind one bit at all. Again, it all is just preference based, but again, I don't hate that duo one bit. Caruso, Kuz up next. Caruso's 6'5" at the point guard position, which means he can standing dunk. Release isn't necessarily the best, but can probably make it work defensively. Really, really solid. For Kuz, he gets 35 Hall of Famers. Defensively gets a decent amount better. Gets vice grip, green machine guard up, mini magician, volume shooter. Enough to make it better. Again, a duo you can run if you want to, and I would not blame you. D-Rose, Joakim Noah. This is a duo that I just think is going to be hard to run, and again, it's just because D-Rose is too small. Okay, that's ultimately what it is. Again, do what you guys got to do. D-Rose is too small. For Joakim Noah, he gets 35 Hall of Famers, and the 3-ball becomes a lot better. So if you are a big, 2010 Chicago, 2011 Chicago Bulls fan, do what you got to do, because Joakim Noah is already good and gets a 3-ball with this duo. But again, not necessarily a duo that I'd recommend you guys just going out and getting. Rashard Lewis, Ray Allen, I don't like this duo because I don't really like either one of these cards. It's fine. Rashard Lewis does get those 35 Hall of Famers. For Ray Allen, gets him up to 40, gets, bailout, ankle braces, interceptors, some really solid badges in there. But again, it's Ray Allen and it's Rashard Lewis. Neither one of those guys are cards I really do love in my team. Next up, MJ Scotty. For MJ, he's still going to have the Michael Jordan base. Very troll. And I know he gets 35 Hall of Famers, but again, for me, not very good. Scottie Pippen, I know his releases are already okay, but here's the deal. With this MJ and Scottie Pippen, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. I mean, it's that simple. It's that easy. The card's not bad. The duo is not bad. It's just not worth running for cards that don't get their new releases. This MJ, this Dennis Rodman for MJ, gets a little bit better, hardly better, does get bailout, Claymore, comeback kid, slippery off ball, some decent badges. Big upgrade in here is for Dennis Rodman, right? Dennis Rodman goes from having 31 base total badges to having 35 just on Hall of Fame. Problem is his release doesn't change. So is the duo worth running? Absolutely not. Dennis Rodman stinks in my team. Jalen Williams, Keldon Johnson up next. For Jalen Williams, gets 35 Hall of Famers. Jalen Williams based on very quick, not bad. Problem is you got to run Keldon Johnson, and I do not like Keldon Johnson. Neither one of these guys have good releases. They're both decently undersized at their respective positions. It's just not a duo I really highly recommend running. Again, both cards get 35 Hall of Famers. That's fine. But again, it's not enough to run them. Steve Nash, 6'3". What are we really talking about? I know he gets 35 Hall of Famers. Not enough there. Amari gets Limitless, gets some other things. So, but if you are a big Phoenix Suns fan, do what you guys got to do. To me, it's just ultimately not worth running Steve Nash for when Amari's not even that. Like, Amari's fine. He's just not necessarily that great. Anyways, Thad Young, Lou Will up next. For Thad Young, makes him a lot better. 35 Hall of Famers, Limitless. A lot of those defensive badges, shooting-wise, gets Limitless range, comes with a good release. I like Thad Young. The problem is you got to run Lou Will, and that's the real big problem. I don't like Lou Will in my team. He's 6'1". The card stinks. That is why the duo is not worth running. KPJ, Jalen Green. For KPJ becomes maybe the best primary ball handler in the entire game. I mean, I'm going to say like it is. Even becomes better on the offensive end of the court. Problem is you got to run Jalen Green, and Jalen Green reeks in my team. The card stinks. So is the duo worth running? No, it's not. But KPJ becomes really, really good in my team. Marc Gasol, Pau Gasol, this is a duo I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about it. Because for budget players out there, this could be a duo for you guys, okay? Marc Gasol gets vice grip, post playmaker, break starter, clamps glove, menace, workhorse, a lot of those shooting badges as well. As this, look, he becomes a better rebounder, gets a little better on his free throw. There's not much there stat-wise, but he's already perfect. Pau Gasol gets 40 Hall of Famers, speed goes up, interior goes up, standing dunk goes up, gets workhorse, chase down artist. Here's the deal. Pau Gasol and Marc Gasol is your front court. You're in good shape because that's pretty good. I'm going to be honest with you. That is a pretty good front court for probably really cheap. Now, again, as far as today, that duo will probably be decently expensive, but you can get away with running them. Obviously, against Manute Yao, you might struggle a little bit, but that duo is one of my favorites today in general. Sean Bradley, Dirk up next. Sean Bradley gets 35 Hall of Famers. I just wish his speed went up a little bit. He does get Hall of Fame catch and shoot, deadeye, and volume shooter. And with the 55 3-ball, I hate to say it, 55 3-ball and Hall of Fame catch and shoot, that is going to be greenable, okay? Now, Brook Lopez base stinks, but I got to say it, this duo is not bad. Sean Bradley is not bad. Dirk does not get much better. Is it worth running? No, it's not, because Sean Bradley still is not that good. I get it, right? You're going to be like, well, he becomes usable. Well, somewhat, right? But still not worth ultimately running in my team. Gary Payton, Sean Kemp. I like this duo. Sean Kemp gets 40 Hall of Famers, a lot better defensively, including box out beast, pick dodger, as well as Agent 3 blinders. Like, if you look at the badges Sean Kemp gets, they are pretty good badges in my team. The thing is, for Gary Payton, he basically becomes the dark matter that we already do have, right? That's the big thing. Nothing really changes there. Worth running? Probably not, but it is a decent enough duo in my team. AD Bron, AD, 60 Hall of Famers, Ant, bailout, volume shooter, mismatch expert. The Hall of Fame mismatch expert's a good badge for AD because you got to realize a lot of people have Manute, a lot of people have Yao, a lot of people have even Taco. That's a good badge for him. For Big Bron, gets 35 Hall of Famers. I mean, again, core base on quick. It's not worth running ultimately. I'm sorry if you love AD and Bron, that duo is not worth running. Clay and Steph, this is a duo I don't hate because a lot of people are already going to run the Warriors theme team type of stuff. Clay gets Hall of Fame bailout, space creator, unpluckable, some good badges in there. Obviously, stat-wise, nothing much changes. Steph gets 60 Hall of Famers. You want to know what badges they are? Rise Up, that's a good badge for Steph. Brick Wall, Post Playmaker. If you are a big Warriors fan and are running those two cards anyways, well, you might as well run them together. KG, Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce stinks. KG is really good, but the duo is not worth running because Paul Pierce stinks. Again, you don't change releases with these duos, so if a card stinks, he's probably going to stink. That's just the truth in the way it ultimately is. I skipped a couple, so we're going to go back up here. Grant Williams, Robert Williams. For Grant Williams, his release is not great, but again, does become a dark matter. Rob Williams becomes a dark matter as well. The only way I would run this, and it is what it is because Grant Williams is so short, but the only way I'd run it is if you are a big Boston Celtics fan because Grant Williams is just too short to ultimately play the 3 or 4. Tim Duncan, Manu, it's a decent duo. Tim Duncan's base just stinks. It's that simple. I don't mind this duo at all because for Manu becomes quite a bit better, especially defensively. But the problem is you got to run Tim Duncan, and it's just not worth it because Tim Duncan is just not very good in my team. All right, we got to get through these pretty quickly here. Jermaine O'Neal, Jonathan Bender. This one's intriguing for Jermaine. Still has a rough release, but he does at least get Limitless, Slippery Off Ball, Mini Magician, Challenger, Workhorse, some decent badges in there. But the big thing here is Jonathan Bender, right? The problem with this is Jermaine or Bender, one of them is going to have to play the 4, right? It's not like one can play the 2 and one can play the 3. Bender does get a lot better. You get a dark matter Jonathan Bender, who is already absolutely elite in my team. I don't mind that duo at all. Not one bit, especially if you are really balling on a budget. Next up, guys, it looks like we got basically a duo for every team. Invincible Kobe, Invincible Shaq, get a duo. It's basically just going to make them a little bit better. Nothing really crazy. Volume Shooter, Green Machine, Bailout are the Hoffers. Shaq gets, for Kobe, Aerial Wizard, Pro Touch, as well as Special Delivery. Nothing too crazy there. It's a cool duo to have, but it doesn't really do much for them ultimately because the cards are already Invincibles. John Wall, Kelly Oubre Jr. This might be a duo. If you get John Wall today, that's worth trying out for you. I'm not saying that Kelly Oubre Jr. is going to be great, but he does become a dark matter. Could be worth you guys trying out. I don't necessarily love Kelly Oubre Jr. in my team. This is a duo I love. Adrian Dantley, Thurl Bailey. Again, Adrian Dantley, you guys got to realize, does get KCP on very quick. Rudy Upper, good dribble season there. Thurl Bailey, already good, becomes even better. Gets Rise Up, Vice Grip, Box Out Beast, Rebound Chaser, a ton of those other finishing badges. Interior goes up 5, rebounding gets even better. I love Thurl Bailey already in my team. You get Adrian Dantley, definitely try that out. J-Kid, RJ, the duo helps him out, but neither one of these cards are really good. Not worth getting, in my opinion. Mike and Dove Shays, problem with this is the cards do get better, but you'd have to run a 6'8 and 6'10 power forward center. That's just not going to work in my team. If you get Mike in, don't feel like you got to pick up Dove Shays because it's not worth it for you guys. Wiggs, Dre, a duo I like. Wiggs gets a little bit better. Air Wizard, Giant Slayer, Pro Touch, Space Creator, Break Starter, not great badges. Dre, again, gets a little bit better, but AB, Giant Slayer, Pro Touch, Slithery, they get a little bit better, but it's not enough to, I would even think about running. If you get Dre and Wiggs both, sure, you can run them together, but don't expect the cards to play that much better for you. We went over 35 or so duos in about 15 minutes. Ultimately, there are some really solid ones like Pau Gasol, Marc Gasol, some really solid ones, even like, Joe Ingles, Gordon Hayward, that can be solid for you guys. But ultimately, most of these are probably not worth it for you guys. Thurl Bailey, Adrian Dantley, another one that I am a pretty big fan of. That's going to wrap it up for our video today, guys. Drop a like on it. Subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys, and have a blessed day.